Okay, we need to come to order and.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Yep, I'll do it now.
Taking the motion. V7 or V7 or V8.
Commissioner Martinez,
Here.
Commissioner Almias, Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Ryan here, and Commissioner Bonjorni here. Yeah. So the date is March 12th, 5:00 p.m. This is a public hearing to amend the order of conditions for. I'll just read it to you guys. Proposed changes related to wetland crossing for this project here in a subdivision 80 and 1879 Allen Street. The original design included a 24-foot span roadway across VW and intermittent streams to replace an existing concrete culvert pipe. Given the significant construction effort required and costs associated, they want to change that now to 10 feet wide. So really going from 24 feet wide, less than half of that distance to 10 feet wide for the cars to go across in this new subdivision is going to be the project. So it's changing, it's getting smaller. There's actually going to be less work as opposed to the original plan.
Which makes that better.
Yeah, which makes it better. Yeah. So that is
And is anybody here to speak?
Yes. Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Nelson from R. Levesque Associates. I'm going to share my screen if everyone can see it. I'm not sure, but. Is everyone able to see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Adam summarized it pretty well. Essentially, our original design was going to be a 24-foot span with the hopes of spanning more BVW and not having, or we were trying to minimize our impacts in the beginning. However, as we got closer to kind of getting things ready for construction, we realized there was some structural hurdles that had to be worked around, as well as, complications with running utilities underneath that length of a span. So essentially we needed to reduce the span width. We had several conversations with Mass DEP. At the time, it was Mr. David Fowlis before he retired, on how to go about this. We still are meeting the stream crossing standards for this culvert crossing. We have identified on these plans the stream channel within the BVW, whereas before that wasn't delineated. So we're still meeting the 1.2 bankful width in terms of the stream crossing. One of DEP's recommendations was acknowledging an unrealized mitigation at the time, and that would be through the creation of land underwater within the culvert, because right now it's a man-made pipe, and under proposed conditions this would be a natural substrate bottom. So part of the mitigation to account for is we're creating land underwater through the bed of this culvert. And additionally, they encouraged us to show mitigation and buffer zone enhancement plantings around the crossing. They thought that would provide greater benefit versus a wetland replication area to the north that we were previously proposing to offset the BVW impacts. But this would have required cutting down the mature trees next to the wetland, regrading, then installing the wetland plans to achieve that. And instead, it was actually DEP's recommendation. They would rather see us forfeit or no longer propose the replication area, and instead propose plantings along the stream near the crossing to help provide shade for the stream, as well as reduce pavement temperatures around the crossing area where stormwater runoff would occur. So we revised the plan. We sent that to DEP quite a few months ago, and they came back with an approval to amend the 401 water quality certification that we had. So DEP has approved these changes. And now we're just looking for Springfield to approve this amendment to the order of conditions. So overall, we have slightly more BVW impacts because the span is shorter. So the abutments would be filling BVW, but in return, we're providing greater mitigation than we were before.
Yeah, the plantings would be a whole lot better than that proposed little wetland would have caused mosquitoes for the property living right beside it. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Mm-hmm. Where's the water gonna go? In what direction?
Can you give your name and address for the record?
Mary Dion, 374 Stills Road. I live just above the area that we're talking about.
Yeah, so I did a site visit out there last Friday. The water flows from south to north. And you do that small, small there. That's where it heads north from that. That's where it comes down to.
So you're meaning at Walter going 1336 South Road. So you're saying that the water's gonna flow towards Stop and Shop?
That's where it naturally flows right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just telling here, Mr. Hooper is not gonna be, he lives on Ellendale.
Okay.
There's also,
Just
I
below,
come up.
just below the hill.
Yeah, the other side. Yeah, so that will be the east
Okay.
side of this property. Yeah.
I got a confusion. I'm trying to the east forth, I'm present to the Mobile Service Association.
Did you give me?
Walter Road 1336 Allen Street. There's also, there's gonna be wells put into these properties. 14 of these houses are gonna have wells on the 17th, which I'm just a guy at corn, but I would think that would require another look at, would it not? I mean, you're going from sewer and water to the 17 houses, now 14 of the 17 are gonna have wells. How far down are they gonna go? How far are they gonna dig? We're already got a water problem. And if I understand, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know much about wells, I've talked to a few people in the city, I guess we don't have many.
Yeah.
But our wells run under water pressure, so if these things overflow, where's this water gonna go?
That might be a better question for maybe water and sewer.
I called Andy Farr this morning, just to see if I get a hold of him from engineering.
Yeah.
To see what he said. I mean, we just found out about a couple weeks ago about the wells.
Yeah.
I mean, but I can't understand, and I sit on the ZBA.
Yeah.
So if you come to the ZBA with a plan, and we approve that plan. And then 3 years from now, or a year from now, you haven't completed the plan, all of a sudden you decide to change the plan. I would think you'd come back to us to amend your plan. So I just, for the life of me, can't understand how we can go 14 houses with water and sewer, all of them have sewer. But they can't put the water into the line, into the houses for 14, so we're going wells, in an area that's already, as Steve showed you those pictures, already saturated.
We're waterlogged. We're waterlogged now.
And plus the deer's where it's his backyard,
So this plan was approved.
without the wells,
Without the wells.
yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
I want Ryan Nelson and others to know that we really appreciate that we've been watching this. We've narrowed the entrance roadway. We've seen the lots, we've seen the concerns for the trees and the surface wetland. I think we have a valid question here. We have 17 lots and we've looked at them often. But asking for 14 wells is going to impact what we don't see on the surface at all. And I think it's important that we gotta take another look at the impact of these 14 wells. I don't know how we proceed. There are more experienced people than myself here.
But for a question like that, I think that would fall under not the conservation. Commission.
Yeah, it seems like that's out of our jurisdiction.
That's out of our
I
jurisdiction.
agree with that.
That would have to be,
Can we recommend that we go to sewer and water? Or
Yeah, I think that.
The city has to take a look.
So I'd like to speak to that. We have submitted these revised plans to Springfield Water and Sewer, and there have been no further issues raised. They're content with the design we're showing.
So you've already had the approval for the wells? From Soaring Water?
We need more detail.
Yes, they review the proposed utilities in the layout for the subdivision, yes.
Soaring Water.
Sewer, yes.
Can I
That's,
interject?
Ryan, you said that was from Soaring Water, you got the approval, right?
Correct.
And they know about the 17 new wells.
My coworker, John T, who's the engineer on the project, he's the one that had the conversations with them. He's not here tonight, so I don't know about the conversation about the wells, but I will say this has come up on other projects and not to discredit the abutters claims, that's a valid question. But what we found is getting the Conservation Commission involved. There's no standards to evaluate whether the wells will have an impact or not. I mean, we could do all kinds of hydraulic studies, but there's no standards that say it's an impact or not. There's no cutoff threshold. So I think it would just be going down a rabbit hole of an academic exercise, essentially.
So it sounds like you really need to address this with the. Water, so.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this because there is so much water there. I mean, we have a lake that travels up on Allen Street.
Yeah.
Across the street from them, we have a house down there that literally has a front yard filled with water. And also, let me mention this. I've lived in my house for 37 years. We had to do something about a sub pump in the whole darn 9 yards of that. We're okay right now. We've got water on Forest Hills Road. And then now we're talking about putting a solar farm out here. That's already a water issue that we're in the middle of. And now this began from the beginning. We started this from the beginning with water.
Yeah.
Because we walked that area, what, a year and a half ago? A lake, it was a lake that sat out there. And now, and there's been adjustments along the way. I get that. But now we're gonna put wells in? Are they aware of what footage we're talking about from house to house? Is it 8 feet? Is it 12 feet? Is it 15 feet down? That water is gonna go somewhere. And I will tell you, when Stop and Shop went in, that was a 2-year process. Trying to make them understand that they just couldn't go in there and build the Stop and Shop because of water.
Yeah.
It must have taken us, I don't know if I was on the commission at that point,
Yes.
but it took us months to figure out the only thing they could do was put a vernal pool in. I will tell you, the only time that pool is dry might be July into August.
You're talking about the one on the south corner of Allen Street?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, it's full now.
Yeah.
It is
I
full
noticed
now.
it was full.
Yeah. Yeah. So, question being,
Yeah.
every time you dig a hole and you're sitting on water, where's the water gonna go? And that's our question.
Juanita, you asking, Mr. Chair?
Mm-hmm.
Me?
No.
Are you finished for now? Thank you. I think this is a structural issue. It's said that we don't know who we have recourse with. I think the state should come in and help us, their ability to handle wetlands. And I think that the Conservation Commission owes it to the wetlands that we exist for to reconsider this project simply for the impact of these wells. So we're not sure, but I have not seen any communication from Sewer and Water. You'll have to help me out. That older gentleman that comes from State Conservation. It's excellent and said that he would come, and that's his role to advise us. So I really feel environmentally we've got to find out how this will impact the underground water in this area. On both sides of Bradley Road, there, all of that water up toward behind big lots and be kind of stop and shop.
Correct.
This is a delicate ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm serving on this commission, is that we've got to preserve the wetlands. I think it's a beautiful project. Whenever I hear of 14 or 17 houses coming in, my God, the city, I know we want to raise taxes. And the developers come in, but our job is to protect nature.
My job is to protect the wetlands.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
I know that we don't want it all, but it's just, you have to, it is what we hear from.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I may, I mean. We haven't. So I know Frank Fitzgerald, Attorney Fitzgerald, very well, Attorney Ross is here. We haven't seen anything from the water and sewer department yet. We represent the neighborhoods. We didn't hear about these wells until 2 weeks ago. And my concern is, again, and I'm reiterating what I told you before, but if not this committee, then somebody should be overseeing this situation. Is how many feet down are you gonna go if we get the water to use for that well?
Yeah.
You know, you'd be going down, like in this yard, and let's say lot 17 may have 2 feet down.
Right.
But lot 1 may have 10 feet down or 20 feet down.
Well, that's gonna be.
And for some, I mean, I'm gonna put a call on the sewer and water involved, what contacts I have there, but for some reason, I can't see them signing off on this without knowing the depth of how far down you're gonna go to put this in.
Yeah.
And it baffles me, when I 45 minutes ago put an addition on my house, I had to go through building code enforcement zoning to put an in-law apartment in. So we're adding something to this plan that was not there back 2-3 years ago. Why aren't we looking at this again to review? And I'm not saying it's not a bad project. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the developer or anything. What I'm saying is, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Yeah.
And I understand your concern, I really do. The only thing, this meeting tonight was for one thing only, and it was for the amendment to the
crossing.
For the crossing. So we really can't do anything else.
So how do we go about changing that?
It's a continuation.
Continuation and see, having a conversation.
So we have-
with sewer and water.
So for us, we need to have all of our Ts crossed and our Is dotted. Our questions, I think,
Yeah.
personally, I think our questions now are pretty serious.
Yeah.
Because anything goes bad in there, guess what? We have the whole area that will be in some serious trouble.
Ryan, there's no formal filing or anything from water and sewer about the wells. There's nothing written, no.
No, so I can speak to this. When we were trying to finalize the utilities and how they would span the culvert crossing, Springfield Water and Sewer Department had some issues with how the water line would cross the crossing and not be in conflict with the abutments and providing depth and coverage so it wouldn't freeze. And they encouraged us to go the private well method alternative. So that's why the plan had changed. We weren't trying to sneak anything by. This is just coming from advice we were given from Springfield Water and Sewer that reviewed the plans.
Okay.
So just given what we've just heard, I think this needs to be continued.
Issue a continuance.
Right, even though we could really vote on that, because that's not gonna affect. The wells, this. But since
This,
it's all part of,
but the whole, yeah, because if we let go, we have to issue.
then the project is done,
It's done.
so then
So
it's
we have
a
to issue.
continuation.
Look, let me also add just something to that for your knowledge. We were talking to Mr. Levesque,
Wells, like one of the associates for the back chat.
and talking to Ed with Frank Fitzgerald. And to figure out how we can work this out to make this right.
Yeah.
And we're talking the whole neighborhood here, we're not just talking this development. Because it's going to affect a lot of people if it's not done right.
Yeah.
And my question is that we've just heard about wells and we said, wells? Yes, they're talking about putting wells in. So the next question is, how are we gonna do that house to house? If it was dry land, that's something else, that, it's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about drilling a hole.
Yeah.
And that hole can be 4 feet for one house and 18 feet for another house. And without knowing that, and they're gonna get water.
Yeah.
They are gonna get
And
water.
I think we all just need to get more information.
Yeah.
In preparation for the next time we all meet this, you know, there's a lot of questions that everybody has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it was to be approved, it'd be a continuation for 2 weeks. If you're continued this meeting.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
And we be notified.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll talk to them.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
so
We
we,
first need a motion for.
yes, we need to make a motion to,
I something. We have a continuance for Whispering States resident subdivision. plan. I'll second that.
all those in favor?
We should do it all.
Chairman Collins. Chairman Martinez.
Yes.
Commissioner Alminas.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Von Jordan.
Yes.
Right, approved, and we will let you know.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No,
This is Ryan again, just so I have a clear directive as to what I need to follow up on. What exactly are we looking for from Springfield Water and Sewer, or what should I be trying to obtain from them?
Yeah, and the state
In
too.
the state,
Yeah,
Information about the wells. And yeah, how they're going to impact this project, but most importantly, the ecosystem here.
Okay, we'll have some conversations with them and we'll report back. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
with this being done, is the state going to sign off on this, also state conservation?
hey. But they always sign, I mean, they would always sign on.
I think we should have it.
Comments?
If this is, I don't think anybody can imagine what's going on up there unless you actually walked it and seen it. And we couldn't believe the water that was sitting there, and it was a lake that you could have run swimming in.
Gotcha, conservation.
Okay, Commissioner, adjourn the meeting.
Then you want to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
My second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Just say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Oh, we didn't even ask. Our screen folks.
Right.
Meeting is adjourned.
No, she, but they're in charge.
Oh.
No, I-
You're in charge.